So how do you feel about Obamacare and why?
Okay, I think it's a pretty rotten program because of the way it was passed in the first place. It was passed one-sided. Democrats had a supermajority and they used it because the Republicans couldn't filibuster anything. They didn't read the bill. They didn't understand it when they passed it. And then I think probably part of the reason why they did it that way is because they wanted a single payer system to begin with. And so the single payer system would be like a Medicare for all. And so the way they pay for that is they would raise everybody's taxes and it would supplement these programs, and you'd have these different companies that would buy in. But in the end, it didn't work because, number one, they didn't think it through to begin with. So with Obamacare, you basically got a bureaucratic system that the rollout was wrong, the way that it was passed was wrong. It didn't live up to its billing. It had several things built into the bill that didn't go into effect until later down the road. So you didn't have to deal with all of the ramifications of an uninformed bill right at the beginning, and so nobody knew what would happen until it got to certain dates. I believe 2014 was a year when the companies had to enroll and everything that got to the surface at that point. And so now you've got a system where you've got some places with only one provider in several states. The problem is they weren't challenged at all because the Republicans couldn't do anything about it. I think Obama wants us to be a society based in socialism, and you saw that later in politics when you had a professed socialist run for president. But anyway, his progressive ideology is bad. It's completely wrong. It's not. It doesn't put any faith in our capitalist society. It's all based on Big Brother. I don't have anything good to say about it. I'm just, as far as the people that I've worked with and seeing their options reduced and the premiums go sky high, because if you're a 22-year-old person and you're completely healthy, why would you need breast exams or anything like women? You don't. And so but they're banking on you to pay in, and then we had a federal judge, Judge Roberts, cast the deciding vote. He's the Chief Justice, to say that it wasn't a fine if you didn't have it, but because that would have been unconstitutional. So he called it a tax. But then the Democrats even called it a fine, and then when they were checked, they called it a tax. So you were penalized. So the end gate was that the government was going to fine you for not purchasing something that it was selling. And that goes against the Constitution. And they double talked on it, just like all the double talk that was passed in the bill. So that's my opinion. I think it's a pretty rotten arrangement. I don't know if there's any fixing it right now. I have no idea, because they've got it so complicated to where there's so much gridlock and obstructionism and everything right now in Washington. I don't think it's going to get fixed. I think we had a bad system that went in the wrong direction. It got from bad to worse, and so that's what we're stuck with right now. There's no way we're going to fix it overnight. It's going to take a long time to get this straightened out. But the quickest fix, I think, would be to allow insurance companies to negotiate rates across state lines. If you've got one grocery store in town that sells milk, they can charge you $20 a gallon. But if you got several places that you can buy your goods or whatever, then there's competition, and then that drives down prices. So that's the only thing I can think of to fix it. But it's a pretty rotten deal. I didn't like the way it was passed. I think it was passed with just the progressive ideology and not any kind of practical forethought.